Hey everyone, it's Michael. Today I want to do another one of these Goosebumps fan talks about or Goosebumps fan recommends. I don't know what to call these videos, but I want to talk about a particular book today that is very much more like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by Alvin Schwartz and Stephen Gamel, however you say his last name. Mainly because this is kind of written like that, but almost closer to being written like Goosebumps. But I thought it was close enough that it'd be something I could talk about here on the channel for these thoughts on things. This particular book is written by Russell J. Dorn. It is called Skeleton in the Closet and Other Scary Stories. I saw this listed on Amazon in one of my recommended feeds somewhere on there. And I'm going to tell you, man, Russell J. Dorn is somebody we need to look out for. This guy is incredible. He's going to be one of the next R.L. Stine types, you know, for me. This book, okay, so I think a big chunk of it didn't so much scare me as it did make me uncomfortable in a lot of ways, right? Dorn has a way of writing that, again, is very basic. It feels very amateurish, kind of like how R.L. Stine does, but it's not. It's supposed to be like that. So it's a masterful way, in my opinion, of writing these. They have a very creepypasta feel to them, but not in a bad way, like not how creepypasta typically reads a lot of the time. First story in here is called Skeleton in the Closet. It's actually the picture you see right here. I'm going to tell you what. Skeleton in the Closet, I don't know if it's based on an urban legend or if it is something that Dorn himself came up with. It is one of the scariest things I've ever read in my life. Now this is aimed more towards the younger audience, like the Goosebumps middle grade, upper and lower audiences, somewhere in the middle grade area. There is no cursing. There is some gore every once in a while. Nothing too over the top in my opinion, but this particular story, Skeleton in the Closet, absolutely petrified me when I read it last summer. It's stuck with me ever since. I've made 3 or 4 different reviews on different channels for this and then took them down because I just couldn't figure out the direction of those channels, but this is the one I'm keeping up, where I want to recommend this so heavily, man. You talk about a story that will stick with you the rest of your life. Skeleton in the Closet will always be the one for me. I'll just go ahead and tell you the general premise for that story. This is a short story collection, by the way. I don't know if I've already made that apparent, but I think I have. Skeleton in the Closet is basically about a little boy, a teenager, kid, whatever, 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. And he goes into his closet, and he sees a skeleton in there, and the skeleton talks to him. So, for example, he'll say to the kid, like if the kid broke like a vase, for example, in the hallway of his house, his parents' vase, a very expensive vase, when he would come into the skeleton's closet to try to do something, you know, the skeleton would say something along the lines of, "I'll keep your secret for a sin," right? And then he'd tell the kid, like, or no, he would basically try to blackmail the kid, right? And then he kind of becomes tricky, almost like a Loki trickster type. And I'm telling you, man, the end of that story is horrific. It is one of the scariest endings to a story I've ever seen in my life. Completely threw me off. I did not expect it to go the way it went, and I would very much argue that it's better than a lot of Goosebumps. Just that one story, not the whole book, but that one story, man, it really ripped my feet out from under me. I could not believe it. It's incredible. The rest of the stories in here are kind of, like I said, they kind of bounce back and forth between a little bit more humorous, silly type story, like this one thing about a fridge, right? It was pretty cool, like a creature, you know, couldn't stop consuming things like cats and stuff. It was kind of disturbing. A lot of the stories in here I don't remember right now after being so long after reading it. But I'm going to tell you, man, this book stuck with me. At least that first story, Skeleton in the Closet, and the rest of the stories I remember being very fun, very, very enjoyable, very eerie. You know, they had more of an eeriness than a scariness to them. And again, very much in that same vein of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark by Alvin Schwartz. It bothered me a lot. It really, really got to me. I don't know how else to put it. The book itself is just a fun ride. If you like these types of books like Goosebumps, like here I talk about all that on my channel, Goosebumps, all the time. If you're a Goosebumps fan, if you're an Alvin Schwartz fan, you're going to love this book. I would be pretty confident to say you're probably going to love the book easily. It's fantastic. It is genuinely one of the best horror short story collections I've ever read in my life. It's very short. There's only like, let's see, maybe 15 short stories in here, somewhere like that. And the stories are typically only like 5 to 8 pages long. It's about 109 pages long in total. You'll fly through this. It's a very quick read. Amazing read. So good. I don't know what else to tell you. I could not recommend this enough to you. Russell J. Dorn is a name we need to look out for. He has a few other books out, apparently. I don't know what all they are. I have them listed on my Amazon right now. I'm not going to read through them right now. But at some point, I'd like to get this guy's other stuff. I don't know if he'll always stick with horror or children's horror or anything like that. But a lot of the art, as a small critique I'd like to say, a lot of the art seems like it's something that would be done in like Microsoft Paint. And I think somewhere in the book, if I'm not going crazy, I believe that it was written somewhere. Stuff like this. Kind of looks like very cartoonish, right? You see what I'm talking about? Compared to like this, you know, some of it looks like very Microsoft art painty, you know? Which is not an insult by any means, because a lot of this is really effective. But you can tell the inspirations here for this book. It was a great time. Russell J. Dorn, Skeleton in the Closet and Other Scary Stories. What do you think about it, guys? If you have read it, put your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you have to say. I recommend this heavily. One of my favorite stories ever is Skeleton in the Closet. Again, it's one of those ones that if I had read that when I was a kid, I would have never looked at closets the same. I would have never looked at skeletons, decorations for Halloween and stuff. I would have never looked at that the same way, ever again, because of how petrifying that story is. Great tales, great written writing style. Like I said, it's supposed to feel amateurish, kind of like how Goosebumps is written for a younger audience, and it works. It fantastically works. Anyway, if I had to rate this book on a 5-star basis, I'd probably give this book, I don't think all the stories are a home run, but they're pretty close. I'd rate it a 4 out of 5 stars. It's a really good read, man. And like I said, that first story, to hit it off on a home run, Skeleton in the Closet, that's a powerful note to start on, man. Yeah, I recommend it. Thank you guys for watching. May the Lord Jesus Christ bless you. And if you've read this book, put your thoughts down below. Like I said, I'd love to hear what people have to say. I'd love to hear other people talk about it. It deserves so much more attention. So does Russell J. Dorn. Again, this is one of those influences, like Alvin Schwartz and like R.L. Stine, on my personal short story writing. I think it would be awesome to have something like this come out and be so unique to everything else that's out right now for children's horror. Really awesome. Anyway, thank you for watching. God bless you and goodbye.